So we can do on the non-routine decisions. We do on the non-routine decisions. Do on non-routine decisions. Do on non-routine decisions. And talk about that. The non-routine decisions. Talk about that. There is fundamentals of management accounting, non-routine decisions. So non-routine decisions. Now, when we talk about non-routine decisions, we are talking about those decisions that are made frequently by the companies, but they have influence to the entire company. When I talk of frequently, is after some time. From routine is what they have to make daily. So what they do not have to make daily, but it has influence on the company, the entire company, what we call the non-routine decisions. So you write and say, these are decisions which are not frequently. These are decisions which are decisions that are not frequently made in the company, that are not frequently made in the company, that are not frequently made in the company, but they have influence to the entire, have influence to the entire company, have influence to the entire company. Right, and see, when making non-routine decisions, only relevant costs are considered. Only relevant costs are considered. Right, and see, relevant costs are costs that which have the ability. Relevant costs are costs which have the ability. They are costs which have the ability to influence, which have the ability to influence a decision, which have the ability to influence a decision, which have the ability to influence a decision. Right? Relevance means the ability. Relevance means the ability to influence or to be influenced, the ability to influence or to be influenced by a decision, the ability to influence or to be influenced by a decision. Right? Relevant costs can be described using costs such as, relevant costs can be described using words such as the direct cost, variable cost, marginal cost, variable cost, marginal cost, marginal cost, incremental cost, incremental cost, differential cost, pressure cost, differential cost, avoidable cost, etc. Avoidable cost, etc. Now, you see, irrelevant cost can be described. Irrelevant cost can be described. Irrelevant cost can be described using words such as, the common cost, general cost, fixed cost, apportioned cost, allocated cost, historical or sunk cost, You know what are historical or sunk costs? We talk of them as those costs which are already been incurred. Like, for example, the acquisition costs. So costs which have already been incurred, like in acquiring the non-current assets. Those are what we call the sunk or historical cost. That one is what we call the indirect cost, etc. Indirect cost, etc. Now, right there, the most common non-routine decisions are number one is optimal. I mean, the product mix decisions. Product mix decisions. Product mix decisions. Number two, can also talk about the special pricing decisions. Special pricing decisions. Number three, can talk of make or buy decision. Make or buy decisions. Before you can talk of continue or discontinue. Continue or discontinue decisions. Continue or discontinue decisions. And also talk of replacement analysis. The replacement analysis. And also talk of further processing, etc. Further processing, etc. Now, our measure will be the first one. Now, for optimal product mix, this one is on where we talked about the CVV per limiting factor. Do you recall that? Now, let's just do it on the sum. Let's do the product mix decisions. The product mix decisions. I will begin with that. Product mix decisions. Product mix decisions. Product mix decisions. You write and say these are decisions made in a situation where there exists is a decision made in a situation where there exist scarce resources. In a decision where there exist scarce resources. Now, what do we mean in this case? We mean what is available for production is not enough to make the required production or the desired production. So you can also add and say, these decisions are all about, these decisions are all about, these decisions are all about deciding which product and unit, deciding which product or units, which product or unit that are to be produced using the scarce resources, products or units that are to be produced, using the scarce resources, that are to be produced using the scarce resources, that are to be produced using the scarce resources. Pamoja. Now, the scarce resources, scarce resources are also known as the limiting factor or key factor, also known as the limiting factor or the key factor. The limiting factor or the key factor. The limiting factor or the key factor. We say this production mix is known as, the optimal mix. This production mix is known as the optimal mix. Production mix is also known as the optimal mix. Optimal mix. So with that, can talk of the steps followed. Steps followed. Steps followed. Number one, same. Compute the contribution margin. Compute the contribution margin. Contribution margin for each product. For each product. Now, to get the contribution margin is the selling price you minus the what? Variable cost. Selling price minus the variable cost. That is how we get the contribution margin. Number two, compute the contribution margin per limiting factor. Compute the contribution margin per limiting factor. Contribution margin per limiting factor. Then number three, rank the products using the results obtained above. Rank the products using the results obtained above. Results obtained above. And the last one, number four, allocate the limiting factor. Allocate the limiting factor. Allocate the limiting factor. Allocate the limiting factor. And that is how we do in the cases of the limiting factor. I want to try one example on the same. I want to try an example on the same, the limiting factor. So from the management accounting paper, from the MA, first I do from the FOF. Let's do from the FOF. Fundamentals of Management Accounting. FOF. Fundamentals of Management Accounting. We do in the sitting of November 2020, 1B. November 2020. Question 1B. November 2020. Question 1B. I will use from the fundamentals of management what? Accounting. Fundamentals of management accounting. Fundamentals of management accounting. So from the fundamentals of management accounting, November 2021B, this is what the question reads. Best value limited manufactures 3 products: Smart, Cool, and Fit. Oh, this should be December 2021, not November. December. Naona mmeniangalia nikajua hiyo si hiyo. December 2021. Question number 1 what? B. So you've been given that the best values manufactures 3 products. Namely, we have the Smart, Cool, and what we call the Fit. Following budgeted information is relevant. The year ended 30th April 2021. Given the selling price, variable cost per unit, the fixed cost, the maximum sales, we have the direct labor hours, the direct material in kilograms. Additional information is that it has been estimated that the maximum direct labors available is 300,000. It will neither be possible to employ additional workers nor work overtime. Direct materials which is to be imported from Saudi Arabia will be limited to a total of 1.48 kilograms due to import quotas imposed on their materials. All opening and closing inventory will be 0. You are required, using suitable computation, identify the limiting factor. Identify the limiting factor. Kwa pamoja. Now, what does that mean? The limiting factor is what will help us not to achieve the maximum sales. The units that we want to produce so that we can be able to do what? To sell them. Kwa pamoja. What will limit us on that? So this can either be the direct labor hours that are available or the materials. So let's identify what is the limiting factor. So in this case, what we determine, you determine what we call the shortfall. Shortfall, we mean what will cause the difference that may cause the achievement of the maximum what required. Hours, if it's hours, or kilograms. So here I'll just determine the shortfall. So see, we start with the direct labor hours. Labor hours. So the direct labor hours. Right? Now, how many do we require? required hours. The required hours here, we've been given that we are estimated, sorry, not the available. Let me just begin with the available. Available ni ile masaa iko. We have 300 what? Is it 300,000 hours? That is available. But how much do we require? The required hours. Now we require the following hours. In SMART, I require how many hours? SMART, we require, per unit, we require 2. In SMART, per unit require 2. And how many units do we have? Is it 35,000? Multiply by 2. We give us how much? Yes? 70,000. Right? Kopa moja. Then also, I will have for this other one, which we call in the what? Cool. Cool, how many hours do we require? It will be 15,000. You multiply by 5. How many? Yes? 75. Right? And then we also have for this other one is what? I call it the feet. How many hours do we require? 50,000. You multiply by 3. Is it 150? So how many hours do we require? Get the total. In fact, the available we should less it here. So what is it? Total required hours. Yangapi? 295,000 hours. Hii ndio tunataka, for us to be able to produce the required production, we require that. But our available hours ni ngapi? 300,000. Do we have any shortfall? What we have is enough to be able to manufacture what? The products. Sini ukweli? We only require 295, and what is available is how much? So that means it is enough. And therefore, direct labor is not a what? Limiting factor. So we can also do the same for direct what? Materials. Materials. Can also do the same for the direct materials. Now, what is the required of direct material? These are kilograms now. So required for the SMART. SMART will require how many kg? Per kg, 16. So take 35,000, I multiply by 16. We give you how much? It also have for this other one is what? Cool. Cool, we need to manufacture 15, multiply by 30. And then we have the feet. Feet, it is 50, you multiply by 20. So how much is here for this one? 560,000. These are kgs. This other one, 400 kgs. And this other one, 1 million kgs. So that means the total required kgs. How much? Required kgs. Ni ngapi? 20? Yeah? 2010 kgs. And what is available? Available kgs is 14,800 kgs, which now tells us that the direct material is a limiting factor, because what you have is not enough to manufacture the requirement. So in this case, what is our shortfall? 530 kgs. And therefore, direct material is our limiting factor. Is that okay? You have to know that direct material is our limiting what? Direct material is our limiting factor, because what we have is not enough to manufacture what is required. Is that okay? Now we can now continue then. They want us to get the sales mix. So to get the sales mix, we'll have to use now the what? The steps. Step number 1 is we have to determine the contribution margin. So we get the contribution margin. Now this is for each product. So I have the smart, I have the cool, and I have the fit. Cool, and I have fit. Contribution margin is the selling price. What is the selling price? For this one we have, and this is per unit, 4,000, 6,000. And this one is how much? We have 8,000, right? 8,000. We learn the variable cost per unit cost, which is my V. Per unit here, it was at 200. I have 4,800. And we also have how much? 6,400. So what is our contribution margin? Contribution margin, the CM, will be how much? This is 800. This is 1,200. This is 1,600. Is that okay? Then from there, you get the contribution margin per limiting what? Limiting factor. The contribution margin per limiting factor. So, what is our limiting factor? This is the materials. So, the materials, meaning that here we now be doing for the smart. Smart we have. Our contribution margin is how much? Is 800. Limiting factor is the kg. A kg requires how many? A unit has how many kgs? Remember, this is the contribution margin per unit, because we've used the variable cost per unit. We've used selling price per unit. Now, a unit has how many kgs in smart? You divide by 16. You'll also do for cool. 1,200. I divide by 8. Is it 30? And then I love feet. 1,600. I divide by 20. So it will be how much? This is 50. right? This other one, yes, 40. And this other one, is it 80? And then you can rank them from the highest. So you will start producing the feet, then you will go to the smart, and then you will now go to what? The cool. So are we together? That is the ranking. So after ranking, we can now determine the optimal product mix. Optimal product. Here it is. Let me just call it the sales mix. Right? The optimal product mix. Now, we have the available kilograms. It is how much? Is it 1480,000 kgs? We can now allocate these kgs and ensure that they are fully what? Utilized. They will be allocated first to feet. Now, feet requires how many kgs? 50,000 I multiply by what? So that means they will manufacture 50,000 units at 20. So you just say 50,000, you multiply by 20. This will be 1 million kgs. How many remains? So umetumia 1 million. Hapo imebaki ngapi? 480. Sindio? So if it is 480, what follows there is a product what? Product smart. Smart, if you utilize it, it requires 500 and what? That is if you manufacture 35,000 units. Sindio? Huh? Si kuanzia the highest. The highest in the yes, that is how you have to rank them. Pamoja. Now, so that means we have to manufacture what we require is where we utilize 480 what? Kgs. So the question will be, I know smart, a unit contains 16 kgs. So how many units will I manufacture using 480 kgs? Is it 30,000? So here I will only multiply 30,000 units. So that at the end of it, I will have utilized 1480,000 kgs. Ziishe. So the sales mix, what he has to sell here, he has to sell for feet 50,000 units. And then for smart, how much? 30,000 units. That is Roman number 2. And that is why it is having those marks. Another one is the resulting profit from the sales what? Mix. To get the profit here, should be given by the contribution margin. You multiply by the units, you minus the fixed what? Fixed cost. So, right? The contribution margin. So I will go to feet. The contribution margin for feet was 1,600. How many units are they manufacturing? 50,000. Then you minus the fixed cost for It was 26 million. So how much is it giving you? Smart. They will only manufacture, the contribution margin is 800. Manufacture 30,000. I will less 14 million. So how much is it giving you? The first one is how much? 54 million. The other one? 10 million. And with that, the total profit will be 64. With that, you are done with the question. That is how you are required to do on that question. From the management accounting paper of the CPA, when we go to there, or that one you do as an assignment. Yeah, just do that as an assignment. From there. From management accounting paper, you will try these at your own time. From the management accounting paper. Yeah, from management accounting, December 2022, question number 2B. December 2022, question 2B. What's up? December 2022, 2B. Now let's also proceed can now do on what we call the make or buy decisions. Make or buy. Now, this is it. In what we call the non-routine decisions, all the irrelevant costs, we eliminate them. That means in this case, we do not consider them. That was how. And that is why when I was looking for the contribution margin, I have not considered the fixed what? Cost. Reason being, it is an irrelevant what? Irrelevant cost. Here we only consider the relevant cost. Are we together? We only consider the relevant cost. Now, make or buy decisions. Make or buy decision. And also do that. So on that you can say on make or buy. On make or buy decisions, you can say these are decisions. These decisions are formulated in situation where these decisions are formulated in situation where the product can either be manufactured. The product can either be manufactured internally in situations where the product can either be manufactured internally or purchased from an external supplier or purchased from an external supplier or purchased from an external supplier. Purchased from an external supplier. From and on optimal decision, on product mix decision also do from a May. The management accounting May 2021, question number 1C. May 2021, question 1C. So do that one as well. That is from management accounting. Same case to November 2020. We'll also do November 2020. Question number 5B. November 2020 5B. But hiyo anakaa ni kama walirudia the same, but just do that one. From the fundamentals of management accounting. From the fundamentals of management accounting. Fundamentals of management accounting. We do from the fundamentals of management accounting. From the fundamentals of management accounting. This is what I can see is continue, discontinue. Yeah, I've seen one. Can do September 2015, question number 4B. 4B. September 2015, question 4B. September 2015 should be question 4B. September 2015, question 4B. Make or buy decisions. September 2015, 4B. FMA. September 2015 from the FMA paper. So you've been given that a calculator, manufacturing company finds its cost in 625 to make a calculator, but the same is available in the market at 575 each with an assurance of continued supply. Cost breakdown is as follows. You've been given there. All the fixed production overhead, 40%, specifically incurred in making the calculator. Balance will be incurred irrespective of the decision made. Should the calculator, the company make or buy the calculator? So make means you manufacture. Buy is the selling price. So if they buy the calculator, they will buy it at how much? 500 and what? 75. So. If they make, they will incur the following. Here I've said we just consider the relevant cost. So the relevant cost here, we have the direct material or the direct cost. So what was the direct material cost? Is 270 what? Then the other one is direct labor. 175. And then we have the variable production overhead. Variable production overhead. Of how much? 50. Now, however, when on the fixed we no include, however, there is a specific. If it is specific, means that it has to be incurred in the manufacture of that. So I will just say specific fixed overhead. Of how much? The specific fixed overhead was 40% of 125. What is 40% of 125? Yes? 50. Get the total. If you make, it will incur how much? If it makes it will incur how much? 550. So should he buy or should he make the calculator? Yeah, he should make the calculator since he will incur what? Less cost. If the supplier offered the calculator at 525, should you still maintain, would you change the decision? Yes, no. Because you will now be getting it at a what? Lower price. Hiyo lazima nifanye kweli. Haya, sawa. Martin amesema ni ukweli. Hata umesema nini? Haya, tuendelee. Now, what are the factors that you're supposed to consider when making such decision? Number one. Hizi zinakuanga the same in the non-routine decision. Ya kwanza inakuanga the behavior of fixed cost, the effects on staff morale. Zinakuanga the same. Sawa sawa. Behavior of fixed cost, effects on the staff morale, the reliability of the external supplier, value attached to the item, alternative of the resources, which will be idle, alternative use of the resources, which will be idle, etc. Those are the factors that you can consider. Lakini msisahau hiyo ya kwanza, the behavior of fixed cost, effects on the staff morale, it affects all these other decisions. Sasa hiyo iko sawa? We go to the other one, is what we call the special pricing decision. Special pricing decision. Kuna mali umepotea? Ati nimesema? Yeah, reliability on the value of what? Umesema the reliability on? Umesema nimesema hivyo? Reliability of the value of the external supplier. Venye anakuuzia. That is what I've been able to say. But even if you talk about the external supply, the reliability of him, haina shida. Juu ni yeye tu ana determine what he'll be able to sell. Sawa sawa. So you can either talk of that, the external supplier, or the reliability of that value. Now, I'm talking of now the special pricing decision. So you write and say, these are decisions. These are decisions which are formulated in relation to one of customer, which are formulated in relation to one of customer, who makes an offer to buy, an item at a price below the normal price, or makes an offer to buy the item at a price below the normal price, right? And say the decision is formulated in situations of desperation. Decision is formulated in situations of desperation. Say, the lower price is known as the special price. The lower price is known as the special price. See, The concept is that the offer should only be acceptable. The concept is that the offer should only be acceptable if the offer price is equal or greater. Should only be accepted if the lower price is equal. If the offer price is equal or greater, the offer price is equal or greater than the relevant cost of the item. Greater than the relevant cost of the item. Relevant cost of the items is equal or lower than the relevant cost of the item. So we can have an example from the HTD paper. From the HTD paper. From the HTD paper, August 2022. Question number 1C. August 2022. Question 1B. 1C. August 2022. Question 1C. Only thing that we are eliminating is the what? The irrelevant cost. So Jikase Limited is currently operating at full capacity, and it manufactures and sells brooms for local market. Currently, the product volume is 100,000 brooms per annum with the following cost structure. You've been given there. Sales. Marginal cost is also the variable cost. So we have for the labor and we also have for the materials. Given the fixed cost, you are required. Additional information is that each broom is currently sold at a special price of how much? 200. An opportunity has arisen to supply 30,000 brooms per annum at 180 each. Acceptance of this offer will incur an extra fixed cost of 800,000 for the hire of additional machinery. Jikase Limited will also pay an overtime premium of 20% for the extra direct labor. You advise Jikase Limited on whether the offer should be accepted or should be rejected. Now, what is our special price? What is our special price. 180. Remember, the offer is of what? Opportunity has arisen to supply 30,000 brooms. Sawa sawa. So the only thing that we'll do, I will consider the relevant cost. Relevant cost. Na tumesema the offer should only be accepted if the relevant cost is greater or equal to what? I mean, the offer price is greater or equal to the relevant cost. We'll have the direct labor. We have the labor here. Labor was of how much? This is per annum. Remember, we use per unit. So I'll just take 8 million. I divide by 100. Inakupea ngapi? This will be 80. Material will be of how much? Material will be 5,000. I divide by the number of brooms here. 100. This will be 50. Right? Now, the offer also is expecting acceptance of also will incur extra. These extra fixed costs we have to consider. Extra fixed cost was of how much? So 800,000 I divide by how much? This is 800. I divide by I should divide by how many units? Simu nidanganye tu kidogo hapo. Tutumie, is it over 30,000 or will it be over 100? 30,000. How much is it giving you? And then it'll also be have an overtime premium of 20% of 80. So this is giving you how much? 27. And these other one? Yeah? 16. Give the total. One? 175. 3. Should the order be offer should the offer be accepted? Yes? Lucy, the offer should only be accepted if the offer price is greater than what? The only be accepted is So in this case, they should accept the what? The offer. Meshika venye tulisema. The offer should only be accepted if the offer price is equal or greater than the relevant what? And the relevant cost is 173 is how much? Na mjue hapa ni special pricing. Kwa pamoja. You are putting a price. That is why we are doing that way. So, is that okay? The other one is what? The last one now. Continue or what? Yeah, ndio tunaitanga pia drop or retain. Yanaitangwa hivyo. Yeah, drop or retain. How else can we call that? Iko na majina mingi. Yeah, let's talk of that one. Can as well talk about continue or discontinue. Continue. So here the key is you know the relevant cost and the one that we do what? The relevant cost are the one that we only consider. So we can now go to continue or discontinue decisions, which is also what I've said. You can also call it the drop or what? Drop or retain. Drop or retain. Continue or discontinue. Which I've said we can also call it the drop or retain. So right, these are decisions. Say these are decisions. These are decisions which are made. Which are made. Are made when you want to continue or discontinue with production. When you want to continue or discontinue, want to continue or discontinue with the production, continue or discontinue with the production. Tunamaanisha you want to continue with production of that item, or you may. Generally, this is what I've said. You can drop. Drop means umeacha ku produce, continue, retain, unaendelea ku produce. Sawa sawa. So I can also use the FMA paper again. Then from the fundamentals of management accounting, from the fundamentals of management accounting, August 2021, 2B. August 2021. Question 2B. August 2021. Question 2B. August 2021. Question 2B. August 2021. Question 2B. ABC produces 3 products there. We've been given there the X, Y, and Z. Following data relates to the 3 products. And below the additional information, total cost 25% and 25% fixed. Directors of ABC consider product Y as a loss-making and therefore should be discontinued. Using suitable computation, advise the management of ABC on whether to discontinue without product Y. So this is it. I will have the product here. This is product X. We have X what? Y and Z. No. Shillings. Thousands. Shillings in thousands. And then shillings in what? Now what is our sales? Sales here is of how much? 250. These are the one 180. And then these are the one is one what? 50. I've said here we only consider the relevant cost. So just less the variable cost, which was 75%. What is 75% of 200,000? Is that 150? Yes. What is our contribution? This will be 100, right? You go to product Y. This will also be 100 and what? 50. How much is it giving you? 30. Then the other one is how much? What is 75% of 120? Yeah? 90. Which is how much? This is 60,000. Our concern is on product Y. When we consider the relevant cost, it is giving us a profit, and therefore it should not be discontinued. Sawa. Na ujua mnauliza now the 10 marks zinatokea wapi? Ni hivyo tu. Yeah, it's 10 marks. So at the end of it, this is what we mean. If after considering the relevant cost it is making profit, then if there is no need of discontinuing the product, they can continue with the product. All right? Bado mnashangaa? Yes, that is how it should be. No addition, no subtractions. Should be that way. Najua mjaandika hiyo na kuandika ndo inakupea mark pia. Yeah, you also need to write. Sure, when you are told to advise, sifanya na uiache. Yeah, on considering the relevant cost, product Y is still making profit and therefore it should not be what? Discontinued. Therefore, it should not be discontinued. So you only consider the relevant cost. So do the following as assignment then. Do the following as assignment. May 2019 question number 2B. May 2019 from the fundamentals of finance, management accounting, fundamentals of management accounting. May 2019, I've said question 2B. November 2018, Question 3B. November 2018, question 3B. May 2018, question 1B. May 2018, question 1B. May 2018, question 1B. Also do November 2017, question 5B. November 2018, 5B. 5B. Yeah, just do that. From the fundamentals or from the management accounting paper. From the management accounting paper, the MA paper. You do December 2023 1C. December 2023 question 1C. December 2023 1C. Also April 2023 question 5B. 5A. August 2023 5A. August 2023 5A. Also do September 2021, April 2022, April 2022, April 2022, question 5B, April 2022, 5B. Yeah, just do those ones. So, and that marks the end of the syllabus on that. Identify the areas that you have in the issues so that now as from our next class, we kick from there. Yes. However, I will begin with the last topics. First, budgets and variances. Ama kuna shida wapi? Variances si sana. But variances is all about you getting the formula for those that are doing that. So you'll be able to see how. So any question? Huh? No question. Any question? All right. If there is no question, then we proceed from there.